Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Camerascore. And this week we're talking about Bruno Mars' latest album, The Romantic. Honestly, a lot of people are hating this album. I don't really understand why. Let's jump right into it with the track list. So we've only got 9 songs, and I really love that about Bruno Mars. He's gonna get in there, give you what you need to hear, and get up out of there. And I think more artists should follow suit. These 20-something song albums, besides the Fall Off, we'll let you have that one, don't really hit in the way that the artist intends to. It kind of feels like you have no vision. You just threw a bunch of songs together and you just wanted to get them all out for syndication or various streaming numbers and quantities. In this case, though, I feel like this album is very concise and I really do love the production. Now, let's first start off with Risk It All. Now, he kind of comes in with like not a Spanish guitar feeling, but a little bit of that Hispanic roots mixed in with a lot of the soul feature, which is in almost every song in this album. I really love it. It kind of harkens to songs like Backstabbers, especially on ones we'll get into later. But I like this. It has a really cool vibe to it, and it has a little bit of that catch a grenade for you energy, even though even back then I thought that song was a little crazy. But that's just me. That's just me. That being said, we then get into Cha Cha Cha, which again, playing on the Hispanic feel, but also keeping the classic vibe. This is a very good vibe song. You can dance to it. Obviously, the Cha Cha is a dance, but just to not be too redundant, let's keep it at that. I like this song a lot too, and it really continues the flow and the feeling of the album. This is like a really good vinyl purchase because I think you could just play this in the background at your house and just have a good time. Then we get into I Just Might. And this is the one with the really cool video where he's wearing the green and it's different versions of him. This is one of the songs people really hated a lot. So where you want me at? Like here or oh, you said I'm not invited to this shoot. But like what about like I know it was like a green theme, but like I thought I was included. You said who told me that? What's her name up at the front? She um I don't know her name off the top of my head, but you know her. She cool. What's her name? You said Get Out? And I can kind of understand it sounds very similar to some of his earlier work, but I wouldn't necessarily sit here and be like, "Oh, this song sucks. Delete it. It's garbage."
Move this man!
I feel like that's a step too far, at least in my opinion. Then we get into God Was Showing Off. This is one of my favorites on the album. It's just a really cool concept. When he created you, God was showing off. And it has a lot of his great harmonizing and showcasing his voice. That one and the next one, Why You Wanna Fight, really show you his vocal range once again. I know he does a lot of popular songs where he's kind of just having a good time, but it's also nice to see him go into that greater register, go up an octave, and show you that he can really, really sing. We knew this, but it's still nice to see it. Then we have On My Soul, and this is another one where I really feel like it's a soul classic harken to a callback, if you will. And I really just love how he just goes into that On My Soul, and you can feel him stretching the harmony, stretching his voice with that song. And I think that's what makes this one of my favorites as well. It's a short song. I mean, it's a short album, very concise, straight to the point, but I think that's what makes these small moments so impactful because these are the ones he selected of possibly multiple or numerous others that he had a choice between. Then we go into Something Serious. And this kind of gives me a lowrider George Lopez feel with it. A little bit of the swing and the cadence of the drums. And just the way that it flows as a song, I think, goes into that early nostalgic feel that I have. This one, nothing crazy, but I do really love the homage he's paying to earlier groups of this kind. I think, like I said, throughout this, soul, but also the Hispanic influence. Even though Lowrider, I didn't even realize was not even, it's not the band. I didn't expect them to look how they look. Let's just put it that way. Shout out to, you know, that's what all we get into. The production on this, I have an entire soul playlist, and I feel like this album could really sit in there with the mainstays of that playlist from the 60s, 70s, 80s, all that stuff. I really love that this is the focus he went to. And it kind of shows because he had the whole Silk Sonic progression with Anderson .Paak, which another spectacular album. And it shows that he does care about the oldies. He is a studier of the greats. And I feel like for any artist coming up, you should study the ones before you, whether that's rap, whether that's R&B, whether that's pop, punk rock, things like that. You have to look at who did it before so you can evolve on that. No need to reinvent the wheel. Everyone takes inspiration from somewhere, and he clearly took inspiration here. Next, we get into Nothing Left. Now, this is the one that's a little bit more shaky for me. Not the hugest fan of it, but I do love the vocal register he goes into on this song and kind of those longer held notes. So this one I would still say I'm a fan of. This song actually brings back the guitar a little bit, and it kind of has like a country style register to it. The chord progression is very common in what you'd hear in multiple country songs, but I still love the way he goes into the Nothing Left, and you can feel his emotion in the voice when he's talking about that. I think it adds a lot to the song. Again, not my absolute favorite, but I still think it's a decent song that I actually have on a playlist already. Then we get into the last one, Dance With Me. And this is one that people have also criticized a lot, but I personally like this one a lot too. I think the way this album progresses and the flow that it has with the production is really good. Now, if you want to criticize the album for not necessarily experimenting too much and pushing forward past what he's conventionally known for, I can give you that. A lot of this album does sound like things that he has done before. Now, I don't know if that's a 100% takeaway, but it is something that you can say as someone who personally likes to see artists push themselves, strive for more, and do different things. It can kind of seem a little samey, and I see people's criticism for that. But for this album, I still would listen to it. I still enjoy it. I still find a lot of songs that I personally feel I would go back to and have added to playlists already. But I'm just here for the camera score. And for albums, I always go how many I liked versus how many I didn't like. And I can confidently say 8 out of 9 songs are ones that I genuinely enjoy and will go back to. I guess the only one I could potentially take away from is Nothing Left. I do love the country style guitar, but the song doesn't hit as much as the other songs for me. But that being said, I'm not really sure what people hate about this album. There's nothing really to hate in my opinion. Now, you can want him to do more, to expand more, to change and genre bend as he done before, but I think you have to accept the album for what it is and what he wanted to make. At the same time, you can say this might not be your favorite album from him. That's perfectly fine. But I can't really see the criticism as fair in most cases. But hey, you let me know. Maybe I'm completely wrong about this. It's his worst project ever, and he needs to stop making music like this. But you let me know in the comments, and I will see you guys next week at 5 p.m.